Hey folks, Reid here, hopping on really quick to say if you enjoy this video, please add a like down below and subscribe to the Ice Garden here on YouTube. It really helps us out, so I really appreciate that. Also, as always, subscribe to the 9 Sports for all of our PWHL coverage. That information can be found down below in the description. The season's going to be here before we know it. With that, I really hope you enjoy my interview with Lara Beecher. Welcome back. Another edition of Frostbites. We have a summer edition, super special, super fun. I'm Reid. Today, I am joined by a brand new member of the Minnesota Frost 2026 draft pick, Lara Beecher. Lara, thank you so much for doing this. How's your summer been? How are you?
No, thanks for having me. Super excited to be a part of this, but it's been good. It's been really busy. A lot of training, a lot of off-season work, off-ice work, just hanging out with friends and family a lot too. So it's been good. It's been a really good summer so far.
Sounds lovely. Sounds like an ideal summer. Can you believe the draft was over a month ago now? That seems wild to me.
I know, me too. Even like after a week, I was like, I can't believe the draft was like a week ago. So for it to be a month ago, it's been crazy. Just a whirlwind of emotions that even now I feel like they still come up a little bit. So yeah, it's crazy that it's only been a month.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that feels like a great place to start today. Just could you maybe talk through some of those emotions and just what that weekend was like for you? I'd imagine a whirlwind, but yeah, just like what it meant to you to get drafted and how special that weekend was.
Yeah. So I'm from Buffalo, so it was a quick drive. I actually drove down with Tori Mariano, who got drafted to Ottawa.
Fun.
We're super close, so we drove down together, me, her, and then my little cousin who was also there. And then we stayed in the same hotel room. We were like, we're gonna bunker in together and feel out the whole process together. So yeah, the day we got there, we actually had a little outing, a little party with our agency, and that was nice to just be able to meet some new girls, get settled in, talk to our agents, and just kind of take away our minds a little bit. Obviously, the next day was a big day, so that was really fun and really cool experience to have. And then yeah, didn't get a lot of sleep the night before. Waking up the next day, a lot of nerves, a lot of jitters. The Players Association had actually put on a brunch, so we were able to go. They invited all the draftees and then all the current players that were there. So just to be able to be in the same room as names like Laura Stacey and Brianne Jenner, like it was crazy to just see that, and it kind of made everything a little bit more real. So that was awesome. That was really cool. A good little introduction, and then yeah, I just kind of hung out for a little bit, and then got ready, got the draft fit all settled down. So yeah, and then draft day the night came, and that was a long night. It was a super long night. I had gotten there at like 3:30 for like the carpet and media and all that, and then it's just kind of a waiting game to hear your name called, and then it was getting down to the nitty gritty of everything. I was getting a little nervous, but obviously Minnesota called my name, and I was in shock. I didn't even know what to do. I like stood up. My mom was like, "They just called you." So yeah, but to be able to hug my dad and my mom and then my cousin and be able to meet the whole staff and have your picture taken and do all that kind of stuff, it was awesome. It was once in a lifetime experience and just something that'll stay with me forever.
Yeah, incredible. I feel like the draft fits this year. I mean, everyone was just balled out with the draft fits this
Yeah.
year. How did yours come about? Was that something you put a lot of thought into, or was it more spur of the moment?
Yeah. Yeah, no, the draft fits were really good this year. I kind of had a vision. I'm really into I'm really into the blazer dresses. I have one that I wore for a game day fit this past year, and I had seen them elsewhere, and I was like, "Oh, that could be fun to do, like spice things up a little bit." And then yeah, I found a couple. I ordered a couple, and the brown one was I liked it. That's the one I went with. And it ended up working out good too. So
Yeah, the fits were incredible. I feel
yeah.
like that was cool to see. I feel like that was a element of the draft. I think that's sort of come along as the drafts have come along, and like seeing people's personalities and things was
Yeah,
was
definitely.
cool.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm curious. You mentioned at the draft, one of the things I heard you talk about was just like getting stronger, which I think is, something for a lot of players coming into the PWHL. I'm curious, like, does your summer training this summer look a lot different than it has in the past compared to a college season, or is it a lot of the same stuff?
Yeah, so I think it's a little bit different in the sense of obviously transferring. You have two different programs, workout programs that you get. So obviously, coming over to Clarkson, they were huge on the off ice side of things, and um, I mean, you see a lot of girls that come out of that program that are just insanely strong and, are able to make an impact right away. So sticking with the Clarkson program is what I'm doing right now. Our strength coach is awesome. He's been there for so long, and it's easy to trust someone that he knows what he's doing. And so yeah, but he kind of was able to create a plan from when I was done with school to November, right? Because it's such a long off season, and you don't want to get burnout and stuff. So I would say this is probably the most demanding lifts I've done. Um, and obviously, I think pushing the pace too is big for me right now, as opposed to obviously pushed it a little bit last year, but I think this year, obviously, one of my main goals is to get stronger. So, yeah, it's definitely more demanding, put a lot on your body, but at the same time, this is now it's my focus, right? I don't have school, so to be able to recover properly too has also been a key part of it.
Yeah, and I'd imagine with so much change and so much happening this summer, like it probably feels comfortable too to have like a program and someone you've worked with before to kind of build
Yeah,
that out for you for sure.
yeah, exactly. And even in our spring semester, like we were grinding away. So to be able to kind of just convert that in Buffalo, like at my gym, is just it's a pretty easy transition. And I feel like I know what I'm doing as well too. And working out with Tori, we're able to kind of push each other. So that's definitely helpful.
Yeah, yeah. And you mentioned at the draft too. I heard post draft that you talked about being friends with Brooke Becker, former guest of the show. More importantly, defender for the Minnesota Frost. I'm curious. Have you talked to Brooke a lot, and how much do you think that's going to help your transition to Minnesota to just like have a
Mhm.
friend, have someone that's kind of been through all this the year previously?
So me and Brooke are actually really close. We train, we skate together, hang out, do all the summer activities together basically. So she's been a huge part of like just the past couple months. And it's funny because right when I got to the backstage of the draft, I met Abby, and I was like, I just got drafted to the same team as Brooke. Like, I'm gonna be with Brooke. It was crazy because she was watching it, at a restaurant in Buffalo with our skating coach. So it was just, like, such a full circle moment to, um, just know that I'm gonna have her, like, in my corner. I feel like she's someone I've always looked up to, being that she was in the Bison's organization as well. So, yeah, it definitely is a huge help, and just makes the transition a little bit more comfortable for me. I'd say I'm someone that kind of likes to lean on anyone that I can. So to have her is huge, and then obviously skating with her right now, she's able to give me tips, me and Tori tips. Just like the general stuff of the league, like how much more physical it's going to be, the speed, getting rid of the puck, time management, that sort of thing. So to be able to have her to just kind of get prepared. So, when you get to training camp, it's not like, oh boy, like that. I didn't know that was going to happen. Has been huge, and it's been awesome. Like it's been really cool, especially to see her and all their frost gear and stuff. Kind of like, hopefully that's what I can get to.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, speaking of kind of speed of the game, that kind of thing, you've been kind of on the East Coast, so for maybe for us fans that haven't seen you play a ton, like if how would you describe your game? Like what do you hope to bring to Minnesota?
Yeah, I think I'm someone that's well. I think overall I'm a shifty player. I like to get to the nitty-gritty areas, be a threat down low, where I can make plays myself, but also make plays for my teammates. I think, that's a big part of my game, is being a playmaker and trying to set up my teammates to be in the best position, for them to succeed as well. But, I'm also really working on my defensive side of the game. But yeah, I'm gonna be someone that's gonna work hard, and wants to be out there and just wants to succeed in the role that I'm given. That can help the frost.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Maybe just to go back a little bit, just because I'm curious. I spent some time at UVM, so I feel like I need to ask a UVM question. Just how why UVM? Like coming out of high school, like what was your sort of college decision process like? And then yeah, what went into the you mentioned Clarkson already. What went into kind of moving on to Clarkson for that last year?
Yeah, yeah. So, well, it's funny because with UVM, so the rule hadn't changed yet when when I was going through my recruitment process. So you saw girls committing seventh, eighth grade, and I was in that realm. So it was funny. Like I was looking at colleges, talking to colleges before I even knew where I was going to high school, and that was just like crazy to me.
Yeah.
It still is crazy to me. Like even now, I see like these 13-year-olds around, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you guys are so little, and it's just crazy where it's been. And honestly, I'm glad the rule has changed because I think there's so much development between your eighth grade year and your junior year. But so yeah, so I committed to Vermont my freshman year. I went out and visited with my dad, and I loved it. I loved the campus. I just got like such a good vibe. The vision from the coaches and what they were building was really important to me, and I thought it was somewhere where I was going to be able to fit in. And yeah, it just felt like the right spot. It just was like that. This is what I'm gonna do, and had a really good freshman year. I loved it. It was so much fun. Such a good college town and just area to be, and it's so much fun. And then yeah, and then my sophomore and junior year were a little bit more difficult. From a player perspective, person perspective, you change, you grow, you get it, you get new ideas, new opportunities, and after my junior year, I was like I I wanted something different. I wanted a change. I wanted something new from a development standpoint, and that's ultimately what put me into the portal. And then Clarkson was quick to reach out, and thankfully I was close enough where I was able to go visit them. And the coaches, the rink, the facilities just blew me away, and I was like, I don't know how I can say no to this. So yeah, it was a quick process, quick 2 week process, but I'm really thankful for both journeys because both places got me here. So yeah,
Yeah, for sure. I can't even imagine being 13 and trying to understand what I would want out of a college, what would be important to me, from a hockey perspective or just from like, being a human being and trying
right.
to figure that out.
Yeah, I know. I almost wish I could go back to like my 13-year-old self and like be like, what did you want? Because
Yeah.
they're very different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and I don't necessarily remember all my calls when I was 13. So to be able to like kind of hear what I said versus now would be interesting. But yeah, no, it's crazy. It was crazy, crazy journey.
Yeah. It's hard to even know what you want at 13 and to be able to verbalize that in a way that,
Seriously. I
yeah.
know. It was crazy.
Yeah. I'm curious. I've asked a couple people this question, and it's fascinating to me. I think just the PWHL sort of coming together while you were in college, and very really changing sort of the outlook of like what your hockey career could look like. Obviously there were opportunities before, but so sort of a very different opportunity.
Yeah.
What was that like for you as a player? Was it like an immediate sort of like, okay, here's my new goal. This is what I want to do, or did it take some time? Like, what did it feel like to have that
Yeah.
come about while you were in college?
Yeah. So my freshman year, honestly, I was like, oh, I'm only going to play for 4 more years. And like, that was going to be that. Obviously they had, they were in the building phases of a league and all that, but I was kind of like, I don't, you don't know what's going to happen. So I was kind of like, okay. And then my sophomore year, the PW became pretty solidified. And then my junior year as well. And I went back and forth for a bit. I was like, do I want to go to Europe and, travel basically different countries and be able to play? Like, I also think that's such a cool experience. And again, a once in a lifetime opportunity. And yeah, I went back and forth. I was like, what's my goal? What is it that I want to reach? And ultimately ended up being the PW. I just think it's a league that's growing and expanding so much, and it's getting the recognition it deserves, and I think it's only going to go up from there. So to be able to say that I was a part of it, helping grow the game and just being able to be a role model for little girls, I think that ultimately helped me kind of come to the decision. And then you're playing with the best of the best, right? So to be able to say that, I'm a professional athlete and this is my 9 to 5 is was pretty cool. And I was like, this isn't an opportunity I want to pass up. So yeah, I would say like my junior year, I was obviously thinking about it, and a little bit is why I ended up transferring, because, just getting a new opportunity. And then yeah, and then it was full go from there. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you mentioned Europe. Talking to somebody
mhm.
like Sydney Morin, who's had that experience and sort of gotten to play all over in cool places and play hockey. I mean, it's also a great opportunity. Is that something you would be interested in? Obviously, further down the line in your hockey career, but I mean, it sounds like you maybe haven't closed the door to that sometime in the
Mhm.
future.
Yeah, I think for me it's hard to say, just like with how seeing how long like I'll actually end up playing, right? Like I'm only
Yeah,
21 right now, so who knows what the future could hold. I wouldn't say, like, I think it would be such a cool opportunity. Maybe when, yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of stumped with that, right? Because it's like it's something that is such a cool thing that you can do, and to be able to travel and play hockey is like, I wouldn't say no to that, but I also think playing in the PW for as long as I can is probably ultimately the goal. So yeah, a little bit of both for sure.
yeah. Of course, it's maybe not a great question. It's not something you
No,
got to
that's
worry.
okay. That's
It's
okay.
not something you got to worry about for a little bit here. But yeah, curious about you mentioned training camp coming up. I'm just curious about like what looking ahead to training camp into the season. Like, what goals have you set out for yourself for your first PWHL season? When you look back at the end of this year, like what will be a success in your eyes?
Yeah. I think my main goal right now is to get as prepared as I can for camp. And then, ultimately the goal is to make the team, right? Like, um, you have to work for that spot, and it's not going to come easy to you. So to be able to make the team and get my feet a little bit wet, I think that is the ultimate goal for me, and that's something that I would be really proud of. And um, just as an overall basis, right? Like, just getting into the league, I think is such a cool thing and such a big accomplishment. Especially with the whole journey that I've been through. So yeah, I think that's it. And then, hopefully all goes well. And I think the biggest thing for me is to just be able to soak everything in and to learn from, there's 5 Olympians on the team, just to be able to learn new sides of the game, new ways of the game, some of their habits, what makes them successful. I think just to be able to, like I said, get my feet wet, learn a lot, soak everything in, and just be a good teammate, right? Like, I think that's also so important. So yeah, I think, if I'm able to make the team and then do what I can, with whatever role they give me, that would be a win, 100%.
Yeah, for sure. You mentioned the 5 Olympians. Is there one, or it doesn't have to be an Olympian? Is there one of those players where you're like looking ahead to training camp and you're like, God, it's going to be cool to be on the ice with somebody or playing alongside somebody?
Yeah, I think the first name that comes to mind is Taylor Heisey. Like, of course, right? She's a righty forward, a lot of speed,
Yeah,
such amazing talent and
yeah,
skill, and um, she plays the game at such a high pace. So to be able to be alongside her on the ice and be able to learn from her, it's kind of a cool goal in itself. Yeah, I think she would be really cool to work with and just be able to take in as much as I can, for sure.
yeah, for sure. Well, Laura, thanks again. Thanks again for doing this. I hope the rest of your summer goes well, and best of luck along the way as we move forward to training camp.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me as well, and have a good summer too.
Thanks.